Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're pleased to welcome one of the most outspoken supporters of the Tea Party in Congress. He's a regular guest on John Amy's show on AM 560, and you see him on Fox News quite often. Also, I love when he tussles with Al Sharpton on MSNBC. Oh, that's must-see TV. That's must-see TV. He's a man who says what he means and means what he says. Would you please make welcome the freshman congressman from the 8th District of Illinois. Please welcome the Honorable Joe Walsh.
Thank you. Good Joe Walsh music, huh? John and Amy, thank you. I love going on your show. It's not as much fun as Chris Matthews or Al Sharpton. Where'd they go? They're so terribly biased. Hey, let me take, I was going to say a few minutes, but this may be longer than a few minutes, but keep eating, drink your coffee, drink your water. You got a heck of a day ahead of you. I am lunch. Glenn Beck is dinner. Everybody who knows me knows I have a hard time standing behind a podium, and I have a hard time wearing a suit coat. Probably the toughest part about this job is I have to wear a coat every day, and I can't stand it. Let me open with this. We have to be, in 2012, twice as angry, twice as passionate. In 2012, we have to knock on 2 times as many doors as we did in 2010. We have to donate twice as much money. We have to send out 2 times as many emails in 2012 as we did in 2010. We have to sign up 2 times as many people in 2012 as we did in 2010. We have to double down in 2012. The election in 2012 is the most important election in the lives of your grandkids not even born. Last night I was rummaging through some of my papers, and I stumbled upon almost the very first speech I gave almost exactly 2 years ago when I decided to run for Congress. And I'll never forget the open of the speech I gave at McHenry County College. I said, "Hello, my name is Joe Walsh. I feel like I'm losing my country. I'm angry at both political parties for putting us on a path which will bankrupt future generations and suffocate the freedoms we've revered." And away I went. I found out very abruptly 2 years ago, and I find this out every single day that I'm in Congress, that millions of people in this country feel the same way. Thank God millions of people in this country feel this way. Let me throw out 3 or 4 statements, and hopefully if you may want to pause if you're eating as I throw this first one out, because I don't want you to choke. Here goes. Grab something. Thank God President Obama got elected. Thank God President Obama got elected. The American people woke up. Sometimes I think about John McCain, and I've tussled with John McCain recently. John McCain, about a month and a half ago, had the nerve to call me a hobbit. He literally called me a hobbit, and he called all of my Tea Party members of Congress hobbits, and I right away did what I like to do. I got in front of a video and I said, Senator McCain, if I'm a hobbit, you're a troll. It's not just John McCain. John McCain was what? He was about 134 years old when he ran 3 years ago. He's been there too long. Too many Republicans have been there too long. Too many Democrats have been there too long. And I often think, as I'm sure you often think, if John McCain had become president, I just think we'd be sort of limping down the same path. Spending our kids' money, killing small businessmen and women out there. Who knows what he would have done when it comes to health care. Thank God Barack Obama got elected, because Barack Obama did not walk down a path. He did not skip down a path. He ran down a path, and the American people responded in an unbelievable fashion and said, not in my country, not in this country that I love. And you sent, is this on film? You sent terrorists like me to Congress. Yes, Vice President Biden, you sent terrorists like Joe Walsh to Congress to stop this president, to shake up the Republican Party, to return it to its conservative roots, and to change the way Washington does business. Thank God these Tea Party freshmen in Congress are there. But important point, you sent them there. You sent us there. We didn't get there on our own. I mean, look, it was easy for me. I won by what, 291,000 votes? My election was easy. I'm kidding. Close election. Point number 2. If anybody tells you, Republican or Democrat, that there is an election next year, walk away. Turn around and walk away. Because if any candidate treats what's going to happen in November 2012 as just an election, do not vote for them. Folks, you've heard me say this before. I'm going to say it again. We are in the midst of a revolution. Not an election. We are in the midst of a revolution to take this country back. I gotta tell you, the media always asks me if I'm having a lot of fun. No, I'm not having a lot of fun. I didn't think it would be fun. This is hard work. It was hard to run for office. It's hard to be in Congress. Thank God I'm there now when the country, our country, is finally talking about the important issues. Freedom! Freedom! What we want our government to do and what we don't want it to do. Whose money it is that you earn every day. We're arguing about this stuff. We're debating this stuff. We're discussing this stuff every single day we're in Washington, and you all are out here as well, and you're demanding that we talk about it. look, when I'm done with this business, whether it's in a year or 1,000 years, I'm going to go back and I'm going to teach. Probably the best years I enjoyed was when I taught American government at a community college. I love this stuff. I truly believe we're going through something right now that our country goes through every 100 years or so. And you ought to feel blessed that you're a part of it. You ought to feel blessed that you are on the ground floor of another American revolution. And I'm telling you again, folks, if a Republican or Democratic candidate speaks in front of you next year, this year or next, and they don't feel in their bones that we're fighting for the soul of this country, turn around and walk away. It's that important. Now, we are all in this revolution. Lord knows I'm in it. I know we're in a revolution because this is the toughest darn thing I've gone through in my life. I turn to my wife every night and I literally say to her every night, this job is almost killing me. And it is almost killing me. But thank God I can be a part of it. I sleep in an uncomfortable office in Washington, D.C. Now, I got an airlock mattress about a month and a half ago, a noticeable improvement. Really. I come home all the time. I don't want there to be a member of Congress that holds more town halls than I do. I get in front of the people, oh, by the way, I get with the people that hire me every single day I can. It's not easy. It's not easy. I vote against my leadership darn near all the time. It's not easy. I have to go on MSNBC a lot and talk to Chris Matthews and Lawrence O'Donnell. It's not easy. When you run for office, when you serve in office, you walk around naked. And I've had to open up my personal life for the entire world to see it's not easy. But I'm doing this for the same reason you are all here at lunch today, because you believe, as I do, that these aren't just words. My God, when I wrote that speech 2 years ago, it took me almost 2 hours to come up with that expression. I feel like I'm losing my country. I feel like I'm losing my country. Know what that means. Feel that. And if you really believe that, then all the arrows and all the shots that I'm taking every single day, they bounce off. They bounce off. Two final points. Both the most important things I'm going to ask of you all today. Point number one. You have to elect people who will fight next year. You have to elect fighters at every single level of government. You know, look, I'm a Republican. I've been a Republican my whole life. I'll go to my grave as a Republican. But I've said for the last 2.5 years, and believe me, folks, when I first started to say this, I could see my Republican Party officials cringe when I would say, I am a Tea Party conservative first and a Republican second. We all got to pick our poison. But if you are with me in that your country right now is teetering, and oh, don't believe we're not teetering. I get in a lot of trouble because I tend to just say what's on my mind. I don't know this president. I've met him once, he's tall. I don't know him. But I can tell you this, his policies are destroying what makes this country great. Each and every day he's in the White House, he is destroying what makes this country great. And I'll have that debate, I'll have that discussion, I'll defend those words every single day I'm alive. He does not. This president doesn't understand what makes this country tick. If he understood what made this country tick, he would not suffocate small businessmen and women who are in this country who are trying to make a go of it. If he understood what made this country great, he would demand that government takes care of all of us. He'd understand that we can and do take care of ourselves. He doesn't understand what makes this country great. Now, easy. The problem is, too many politicians don't understand either. And you're going to get Republicans and Democrats come before you next year. And my God, if you need to ask them. And if they don't understand that we're going through a revolution, turn away. If they understand that we're going through a revolution for the very soul of this country, and they're not willing to fight against their own party, turn and walk away. We are so, as my daughter used to say, Dad, you're so yesterday, because I never know how to dress. My clothes are so yesterday. Republicans in name only are so yesterday. Republicans... And I see it, we see it in Springfield, I see it in Washington. You put on that fancy coat, you wear that nice pin, you go into the chambers and you vote, you feel like you're $1 million, and all of a sudden you've been there for 20 years. And you forgot what sent you there. It's a nice job. I've limited myself to never, ever, ever more than 3 terms. I believe what our founders believed, that anybody in this auditorium could serve. Joe will also go for 6 years. And you know what? It will be a sacrifice. It's not supposed to be fun. It'll be hard. But then I come home and you're going. And then you're going to go serve for 6 years and somebody else is going. We've got to get back to that. John Boehner's a great guy. Eric Cantor's a great guy. They're good folk who have the best for this country. The problem is they've been there too long and they're afraid to fight for this country. All right, here's a little inside baseball from D.C. The thing that scares John Boehner more than anything is the American people just think we're so dysfunctional in Washington. We can't get along. And that's what's got the American people spooked. And what we need to do, as he pats us on our heads, Republicans, don't make trouble. Don't make waves. Let's just be quiet, shh, and we'll get President Obama out of office in a year. No. I don't think the American people are upset because Washington's dysfunctional. I don't mind that Washington's dysfunctional. When Washington's dysfunctional, that means they're not able to do as much. I think that's a good thing. I think the reason, John Boehner, the reason the American people are upset is because we are spending away our kids' and our grandkids' futures. They want us to stop it. They really, truly do believe we're losing freedoms every day. They sent us there to be bold. They sent us there to be bold. My allegiance. You know what? This is such a tough job. My allegiance is to the people that sent me to Washington and to this country. And I say all the time, and this drives my staff crazy. I hope this isn't on tape. I could give a damn about my next election. I could give an absolute darn damn about my next election. I am there on a mission to simply play my part to try to get this country back. And if that means that I make some decisions that tick off my leadership, and my leadership says, oh, I'm not going to help Joe Walsh get reelected, fine. If I have to make decisions that tick off people in my district, and they send me back home, fine. It's a dangerous thing to be in Washington and not care about your next election. You're there to do right. You're there because it just kills you every single day what's happening to this country. We need people like that. You need to ask every single candidate next year if they believe that, if they truly believe that, and if they will fight for this country. Nominate and elect fighters next year. Take your party affiliation, and I'm a Republican, throw it out the window next year. Nominate and elect people who will fight for your freedom and who will fight to limit government. End of story. End of story. Final point. Here is the beautiful point. It's up to you, it's not up to me. I was in a debate 2 years ago with 5 other good Republicans running for Congress. And one of my competitors stood up during the debate and said, this like Tea Party movement thing, what it really needs is, it needs a politician to lead it. And you know what? That was the exact reaction in that auditorium. Step back. We have built-in advantages. Nobody understands us. Think about that. Look, I'm in the media a lot. I can tell you from even most people at Fox all the way to MSNBC's, for every newspaper in this country, most people have no clue as to what the Tea Party movement is. They have no clue. Well, we know the Democratic Party doesn't understand the movement. Sadly, my Republican Party doesn't understand the movement yet. I would argue it's a good thing that nobody understands it. They don't know how big we are, and they don't know what we stand for. Here's what I believe. And whenever I'm on a panel and I say I'm a Tea Party conservative, I mean, they look at me like I belong in a zoo. And that's especially fun again on MSNBC. Here's what I believe. We've got what? We've got how many people in this room? Maybe 3, 4, 5, 6, 700 people. What I believe is for every one person in this room right now, there are 643 people back home that feel just like you do. They had a soccer game today. Their father is sick. They don't really get involved in politics. They're turned off by both parties. But they believe, as we all believe, that our government's too big. It's unconscionable the debt we're placing on the backs of our kids and our grandkids, and we're losing freedoms every day. If you added up every concerned, frustrated, angry, and scared American with how big government is, that group of people, folks, is bigger than the Republican Party. It's bigger than the Democratic Party. They have put their faith in the Republican Party one last time to get it right. And if we blow it, if the Republican Party, if my Republican Party does not listen to that charge, we will blow it. And there darn well might be a third party, or a fourth party, or a fifth party. Because this movement to take our country back is bigger than party. Let me close with this. In many ways, a feel like I'm on Oprah and I'm gonna confess in front of 500 people. So here goes, I'm on my couch. In many ways, I had no business running for Congress 2 years ago. I had no business. Financially, I was a mess. I had lost a home a couple of years before. Didn't really kind of know what I wanted to do with my life. I was in between jobs. Life was a mess. But in the fall of '09, it got to the point, again, about exactly 2 years ago, when I literally couldn't sleep every single night. Because everything I was watching on the news, every little step this country was taking made me cry. And so I said to my wife and my kids, I know I have no business doing this, but I feel called to try to play my part. And as a teacher of American government, I told my wife and kids the following, and I've told some of the folks the following as well. And if we are too cynical to relate to this, shame on us. I felt 2 years ago like some ordinary farmer felt back at the onset of the revolution. He's got a farm in disarray. He's got kids crawling all over the dirt. His finances are a mess. His wife can't find the next meal. And along comes someone on a horse and says to this farmer, let's go start a country. And you know, and I know what that farmer did. He didn't think about it. He tossed down his shovel, he tossed down his implement, his tool. You can tell I'm not a very handy guy. I never have that. He waved to his wife, probably blew a kiss to his kids, hopped on his horse, and away he rode, leaving home a mess. I'm no dummy. I wish I was 25 again. I'm not 25. I knew what I was doing 2 years ago. We have to get this country back. We are in the midst of another American Revolution. The decisions we make these next 2 or 3 years are going to dictate the kind of country our kids are going to love and live in. And any Republican or Democrat that gets in the way of us trying to get this country back, we will politely shove them aside and say, I have a greater calling. I am not going to lead this. Politicians don't lead things. When politicians get in the front of parades, parades go the wrong direction. You will do what you did 2 years ago. You will lead this. And I can tell you, talking to my Republican colleagues in Congress, we're shaky right now. I can see softness setting in. I can just see it. Be quiet, be good boys, be good girls. Let's just not make waves. They need to hear from you. If we are going to take this country back, you will, as I said at the beginning, redouble your efforts. Sorry, folks, we have to. You have to. We need a pat on the back, and we need a boot. You know where that boot needs to go. You need to lead this movement, and politicians will follow. And we need to redouble our efforts, and we need to support fighters. You need to elect fighters. But this country will be saved because of you, not us. God bless everything you do. I've been asked 1,000 times, oh, Joe, it's so great what you're doing. It's almost miraculous. 87 Republican, I love this one, I do like this one. 87 Republican freshmen in Washington. There's only one Republican freshman that did not get any Republican Party support. That's me. The beauty with Joe Walsh is this. You did nothing fancier. You did nothing more complicated. You did nothing more sophisticated than elect one of your own. You elected one of your own. You elected a child of the movement who doesn't know any better, so he's just doing what he said he was going to do, and we're not used to that. You elected one of your own. He believes more in this movement than he does party. He's going to try his best to make this party respond to this movement. But folks, at the end of the day, the movement is what matters. The movement is what matters. God bless you all. Keep after us. We will change this country and get it back by you. Thank you. God bless.